倒れねえってのはクソ強えだろ。
Quirk explosion.
それはおぼろげな記憶。
そこなかなか予約取れなくてさ。
ねえ、あの人、大丈夫ですか？
I wonder if that's his mom.
うるさいんだよ、消えな。
She has been Knight's voice actress, excuse me. Yeah. Oh, they were twins. I thought they were born at different times. And that kind of looks like where Shimura was. Quirk explosion. Here we go. Anytime it's a quirk, blah blah blah. I'm so hyped.
世界各国で異能の報告が相次ぐ。異能は先天性のものだけでなく、第二次成長前後でも後天的に発現することから、未知の病として調べていた研究グループは、異能を人から枝分かれした新たなる遺伝子と発表した。それはあまりに無神経で早計だった。異能を持つ者と持たざる者、群生生命を決定的に分かつその発表はその後の混沌を加速させた。
コンビナート方面で異能の連中が結集し始めたそうだ。
昨夜デモ隊が衝突した奴らだな。連中が決起する前に叩くぞ。
なんだ。
It's very similar to X-Men.
なんだ。頂上維持か。
かわいそうだがほっとけ。行くぞ。維持はキャリアの可能性が高い。何の音だ。
それは母親から奪った犬。その赤子は生まれながらに不損だった。身の回りすべてが自身の所有物であり、なけどわめけど自身を見ない何も与えないものがただただ疑問だった。
なぜ抗うんだ。僕と行こう。愚かで可愛い弟よ。
But I wonder if it was another scenario where his quirk is messing up his entire perspective of the world.
私利私欲に使うべきじゃない。あんた
In
は
the
自
same way
分
that
を満た
Shigaraki
すことしか
did.
考えてない。
かわいそうに。異能を持たずに生まれたばっかりに力がなければ通せる道理もない。夢は現実になった。現実は定石通りにいかない。
Bro, he really looks like Bakugo. Or I guess Bakugo really does look like him.
待って、なぜ言ってしまうんだ。力を与えてやったじゃないか。なんだ、お前は。離れろ。僕のだ。僕を見ていろ。僕のものにならないなら、もう。
Oh, wow.
弟を奪った青年と目が合うも、彼の眼球は生まれつき薄膜が張ったように艶がないので、その瞳に青年が映り込むことはなかった。
Oh, that's crazy.
嫌がることと望んでいることを操り、貶め、そうやって手中に収めてきた。なのにお前は僕の思い通りにならない。ただ欲しいだけなのに、追っても追っても 僕の手からすり抜けていく。
He already told you what his fucking name was.
奴の血縁は絶やした。それだけじゃ
Oh, his whole bloodline.
奴に近しかった女も子供も疑わしきは
Jeez! Oh, he's such a
も
piece
し
of
奴
shit.
を違えばあの時何か感じるものがあったはずだ。目があの時はまだその目じゃなかった。ただの空似だ。だが今確かにあの男に似た意志が時空を超えて僕を阻んでいるのだと思っていたが、おい、お前を殺すのもこれも
Oh, are all those the other people? It looks kind of looks like.
勝つだ。全員解放。オール法は全ては一つの目的のために。
Oh, I saw Hawks there.
なんだ。奴は今何の挙動も見せていなかったはず。
I wonder if it's all the sweat that he's been spreading around as he's been kind of exploding in the area, and then he can control them.
威力を使えばコーティングして飛ばしといた。爆発する説も普通の説もだな。誘爆せず飛ばせて時間差で混ざって他の刺激で起爆できっかなって。
Like Piccolo's Hellzone grenade, kind of.
僕の口の中にあの土壇場で
Oh, wow.
センスだけは褒められてきたんだな。個性は一つあら十分だ。
奴のダメージを追うと若返っていく。
これは僕の物語だ。どけ物語。
You should have said that shit. Jesus. Bro, what the? Oh my god.
うまくいかない。こんな爆破ごときが崩れるなどありえん。体がおそらく脆くなったせいか。
負の感情に振り回されて支配権が弱まってんすよ。
Hawks?
だから
Bro! Get fucked. That's what you get.
死柄木に飲まれたね。
That's fucking crazy.
僕の物語だ。そうじゃねえ。そうじゃなかったんだ。一人じゃなかった。この体も繋いでもらった。
Oh, his dad actually delivered him.
夢も声は俺たちの
Fucking All Might's United States of Smash? What the fuck?
皆が少しずつ与えてきたダメージと苛立ちがついにオール・フォー・ワン今度こそ俺一人で
There's no way I could be strong.
なんだよ。あと少し進むだけだ。僕の個性を弔に譲渡するんだ。放っておいても消える。倒れねえってのはクソ強えだろ。
で潤い。
まだ感情に支配されていたんだ。今度は僕じゃない。
That's tough.
奪われた因子が持ち主の元へ戻る
Oh, it's going back.
なんてサービス
Oh.
あるわけないか。
Damn.
くそ。オールマイトのスタンディングしたかった。
Oh, you almost had it.
伊豆家
Good. Bakugo. Hold on. So, like, we did talk about this, right? But, like, what an amazing character Bakugo is. Come on. I hated this so much, bro, at the beginning. I thought he was a trash, like, just the typical character, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if there's more for him in this series, but I think he's done enough, right? Like, and I think it goes back to the kind of the effect that your quirk has on your mind, and like it doesn't happen to everybody, right? So like I don't think it necessarily happens to like Ojiro or like Mina or Mineta or something like that. But when your quirk ends up being like really, really strong, and I like, so for example, like Himiko, Shigaraki, Dabi, Bakugo, all for one, right? All of it, like, it has direct ability to affect your mind and how you think and view the world. His All for One's quirk was so strong that he felt like everything belonged to him. Everything in this world was already his from the second he was born. Even he took his mom's quirk, right? And I think that kind of thought process is also why the League of Villains went after Bakugo in the first place. Cause like he has such a strong quirk that it was affecting his mind. So like going back to when he was like a kid, right? And you know, we talked about this, but it's gonna be like the same like we talked about before, but like from a kid, he always was told that he was amazing and he had a great quirk and that he was strong, right?
Yep.
And it was always like everyone's like, "Oh, you're so smart, Kosuke. You're so amazing, whoop de whoop." And he was smart and amazing, but at a certain point, it went to his head to where he literally thought he was better than other people. But at the same time, he always had insecurities, which is why he treated Deku like, because he thought that Deku was better than him. But that's just his insecurities going through, and his quirk probably amplified his insecurities because of how it flows through his body. So him treating Deku like could have probably been mitigated if someone had maybe kind of humbled him or kind of helped him out when he was a kid, but no one did that. So he always saw Deku as being better than him, and he always treated him because of that. Like generally he was like mean to everybody, but Deku more so because he was always around him, and Deku always wanted to be around Bakugo because he admired the strength that he had, because Deku saw Bakugo as being like the best, right? And then like it just continues on, and he doesn't get essentially humbled until he gets into UA, where at that point he has to take a hard look at himself. Deku, who had been who he was all his life without being a quirk or without having a quirk, like when he got into UA, his change happened in the opposite direction, where Deku had always had time to look on the inside but never had like the quirk to kind of support what he wanted to do, or he felt like he couldn't because he didn't have that quirk. And so when he got into UA and got the quirk, and All Might told him, yeah, you can do this, it changed the way he viewed not only himself but the world around him. Because at that point he thought, okay, now I have this ability, I can do these things that I never thought I could do. I can be the hero I always wanted to be. Whereas Bakugo, when he got into UA, it was less of I have the ability and more so of I have to look into myself, right? And then from there, that's where his development like really started going, right? It was slow at the beginning, but it comes to a head, right? So, you know, he gets kidnapped by the League of Villains, and they see the camaraderie in him. They see something similar to what they have in themselves, and that's probably due to the way that their quirks work, and that it affects their, you know, how they view themselves in the world around them and what they feel like they need to do, and in that way. So, you know, when Deku and his friends save Bakugo during that time, like, Bakugo's still so apprehensive that he wouldn't even they weren't even confident that they would grab Midoriya's arm, so they sent Kirishima to do that, right? Because it was like, okay, Kirishima, you're cool, Bakugo, you know, he'll probably reach his hand out to you, whereas he would never do so for like Deku in that perspective, right? And so Bakugo does reach his hand out to him, and even that's kind of like a stretch because Bakugo doesn't want any help. But Kirishima, being his friend and someone that he like would talk to, like, it was feasible that he would do that. So like that's even that's just like small development that he had. And then moving forward to when, like, after that he fights Midoriya, right? And he has no choice but to truly look inside of himself because he felt like he was the one who ended All Might when he didn't. But he had to fight with Midoriya because it all exploded out of him, like, and after that point, that's when he really starts going on his journey. So I'm going somewhere with this because this episode gives more context, right? He goes on his journey. He then starts to see Midoriya in a different light, right? Because they had that fight, and it's crazy because they've both affected each other so much since they were children. Midoriya saw Bakugo as the form of victory, of win. Like, he even says in the fight, when my desire to win goes is higher than my desire to save, I view you as being what complete victory looks like. That's why he starts cursing when he gets, like, when he's like, I need to beat this person, like whenever he's fighting like Muscular or something like that, that's when he's like starts cursing, whereas he wouldn't do that normally. And he had been affecting him throughout his entire life because in certain ways, not only did Midoriya want to be like All Might, but also like Bakugo. Because even when they were teaming up earlier on to fight All Might, he's like, Bakugo, when he was about to give up, Midoriya goes, don't you ever say you can't do it. You're the one who can do it. You can do it. Right? Like, he doesn't want Bakugo to ever feel like he can't give up because he's the version of what complete victory looks like. And, you know, it's so fucking crazy because then let's fast forward all the way to the Camino, you know, Shigaraki wakes up, whatever, right? And they had actually been like working together to perfect One for All. Bakugo literally risks his life to save Midoriya's life. And like gets stabbed through the chest, and of course Midoriya loses his and goes crazy. But like even that's like so much development from where he came from, and like I'm getting hyped because this shit actually really, this writing is really good. Like you see this a lot in this series with other characters like Endeavor, where like, and like you said, like the fire characters, right? They seem to like get that Zuko development, right? And like ever since then he's been on like an upwards trend, right? Now that he has the confidence based on himself, which he didn't have before, it was insecurity based on what other people were telling him. Now that he has the confidence in himself, now that he's had time to self-reflect on what he's done and where he needs to go, all of that was the impetus for like a great change, like to the point where when Midoriya leaves UA and he goes on his vigilante arc, Bakugo goes to Midoriya and apologizes. Like, not like a, yo, like a, just like a, yo, my bad, whatever, you know, we cool. It was a head bowing, I'm sorry, I know it doesn't make up for the shit I've done, but, you know, I'm gonna be better from here on. And he not only does that in front of Midoriya, but he does that in front of his entire class. Like, it's not like it's a proper apology, right? And for a person as explosive as Bakugo, because of his quirk and because of his personality being affected by his quirk, potentially, like that type of thing is such a leap in his character. And it just keeps going. And like we're at the point where, like on the last episode, where you even see the idea of win to save and then save to win coming into view, where Deku was more like save to win and then Bakugo was win to save. And like All Might said, once you two start really working together, there's like nothing you guys can't do, right? So when Bakugo wakes the fuck up, it's in comparison to the Camino incident with All Might, right? He doesn't even have to say anything to Deku. They look at each other's eyes and immediately lock in. There's no words. He doesn't even have to reach out to him. Deku doesn't have to reach out to Bakugo. Bakugo willingly reaches out to Deku, and they just do it. Like no thoughts, no worries, no fear, no insecurity, no nothing. We have something we need to do, and when we work together, we can do anything. And then he saves All Might. And then not only does he save All Might, he does it with a smile. Like the first time he really like legitimately smiles in terms of like, and tries to like make All Might feel comfortable. Because again, All Might saves with a smile. He wants people to feel reassured that he's there. And he gives that to All Might, and then has like the same kind of explosive smile with like All for One, where he's like, I'm gonna f you up, but like watch this. I'm gonna do it with a smile on my face. And to keep it going, and then again, right? Like on this, he hits him with the United States of Smash, but his version. Like it changes to the exact same like filtering and framing that they did for that, and he crashes it down. And he's 1v1ing All for One, which is crazy. Like he says it wasn't him, and it wasn't just him, right? But for it to be him who does it, right, is amazing, because it lives up to like the All Might that he wants to be, the hero that he wants to be, and all the development he's had in the series up until this point. Like, and he couldn't stand on his feet, obviously, at the end, but the fist up, the same, you know, in the same way that All Might did, and then subsequently Endeavor, right?
Yeah.
Him doing that is, I don't know, it's just, the whole thing ends up coming full circle. Like literally one of the best characters in this entire series. And this, I don't know if he does any more, but even if he doesn't do any more in this series, he solidified himself as one of the best characters in this entire series. For not only his strength, but who he was versus who he became. And like, I don't know, it's honestly one of those things that's just like amazing to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, kind of beautiful, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's beautiful. But like, I guess the remainder is just, let's see what, you know, Deku has, and the rest of Class 1A, because there's still some fighting going on. But no, seriously, it was amazing. He went completely crazy on this episode. And I guess to kind of wrap up my thoughts, because I have a few that I kind of need to find a way to solidify. But like, it's interesting to see the contrast between like the characters who have very strong quirks and then their perspective on what life is, being kind of more in the vein of, I want to help people versus I want to just do whatever I want regardless of what anyone else has to say. Because All for One, again, from the beginning, he said all of this is mine, and my speculation is really that his quirk is telling him that that's what needs to happen, and so his body is moving in that way. and Bakugo's being explosion, that being his personality, but being influenced by All Might to be a hero rather than a villain. And it makes me think if All for One had some sort of like, if he had some sort of a mentor or positive figure in his life to kind of guide him in the right place, would he have been kind of like in All Might? Because Yoichi kind of talks about that a little bit, but like, would his life have been better in that way? I wonder. I mean, but ultimately, he chose what he chose, and he made the decisions that he did, and ultimately, he finally paid for it this episode. So, yeah, this was amazing. Like, it was really, really good. Really, 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 really good. Crazy. Hey YouTube, this is an addendum to episode 4 that I meant to put in, but I accidentally forgot. So episode 4 to me is definitely like an example, a good example of why a lot of people love Bakugo. Because as I understand it, he's like one of the most beloved characters in the series. Initially, I wasn't on board. I'm definitely on board now, and it's been a great experience to see his growth. And again, I mentioned it so much in the actual video itself, reaction itself, but seeing kind of where he was versus where he is now it's just what a ride. What a ride. So that, and I didn't expect to go as off as I did. I kind of thought that maybe I'll make a different video instead, but I had just like a complete like stream of consciousness, which sometimes happens and will probably happen in the future as well. But I just kind of discussed his whole character, and kind of almost everything that I could think of at the time. Maybe there's some other things, but I don't have them in mind right now. So if I think of something, I'll probably add it to a future video. But I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. If anyone who chooses to write to this or respond to this, like, why do you guys like Bakugo? Like, is it because he's strong? Is it his growth? Is it his power? Is it just he's a cool guy? Like, what do you guys think? And then also, what do you think of my appraisal of him? Like, was I kind of on the mark? Was I completely wrong? Like I want you guys to critique what I said and tell me why you think I'm either wrong or right, because I'd love to build upon that and have a more complete perspective on the character. Because I can only see things from my perspective, right? I can't see it from everyone else's. I can try to, but it won't always be there. But I did explain kind of why I like the character. So yeah, if you do, let me know. Or if you find yourself like how I was at the beginning, where you hate him, like, do you still hate him now? Has anything changed? Kind of where are you with that? I'm super interested to hear where people are at the end of the series. And also I wanted to thank you all for watching any part of this. If you felt or found any sort of enjoyment or you identify with any of my perspectives, please let me know. Or if not, I hope you all just have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. But if not, thank you so much for any amount of time that you spent on this. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great one, guys. Bye.